See if that one worked. YouTube's having a field day right now. Maybe it's OBS. I don't know. Eventually, one of these days, it'll work. And when it does, I will be live. I have no clue if I am right now. I'm checking on my phone. Yeah, I see the stream. And yep, there's me. So, we are live. Cool. How do I want to do this? Put that there, put the chat right there. I think that works. Hello. Late night, it's 10:38 a.m. in here. You're in the wrong time zone. Yeah, it's midnight here. Technically morning, so the stream title's a lie, it's actually morning. Good morning, chat. Any updates on any project? Yes, the second milestone for alternate has been completed, actually. We just haven't done the live stream about it yet, and we also haven't, like, announced it yet, but it is done now. The second milestone. There'll be the, newsroom post and stuff and all that going up about it soon. Just, we haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm not going to say we as in putting responsibility on multiple people. I haven't gotten to writing all that shit yet. I got a meeting sprung up on me out of nowhere for work today. I was not supposed to have any meetings for work today, and then it sprung up out of nowhere, and so I was in meetings for like 3 hours today. But we've been working on multi-recipient messaging with the endpoint protocol too. So right now the endpoint protocol project is it's only one-on-one communication. And that was fine for just demonstrating the baseline concept of endpoint. But, for actual real-world use, you're going to want to be able to have, like, multi-recipient messaging. Like, with email, you can have multiple recipients to an email, even blind carbon copies and stuff. So, we're going to get that implemented. I'm actually, I've been researching and kind of trying to figure out how to do that for a while. For a while, as in like the last couple of days. It's been one of my big focuses too. We do have a new Talon update also coming out in a couple, probably in like a week, maybe 2. Because we've been wanting to get that update out. It's just been kind of busy with other stuff, And then also, I don't know if I've ever actually publicly talked about this. I have a camera now. Like an actual proper camera. It's actually right here. It's in this bag. I know this is a Sony bag, but it's actually a Canon camera. If you follow me on Twitter, I've been posting some photos I've been taking, and that's going to be very useful for the documentary. I bet a decent chunk of you guys probably forgot about that, but we are working on a documentary. It's just been super delayed because of, as soon as I want to work on the documentary, 10 other things fucking immediately jump in front and have to take priority. And also transportation's tough, kind of the whole idea of the documentary is to go like, basically all over Texas, but it's kind of hard to do that, you know what I mean, when you don't have a car. Only reason I don't have a car right now is because time constraints and also rent is expensive. But we're getting there. I'm getting that stuff figured out. It's just, one step at a time. It's shit goes way slower than I'd like. It is what it is. Damn, you're up late, or should I say early? Yep. 10:14 a.m. We're looking forward to that. Well, I appreciate that, Magnus. I've actually seen your name around before, I think, on the comment section. I believe. Unless if I'm totally tripping, but I think I recognize that username. Saw the Ordinary Gamers video about alternate recently, and I don't really know if you tackled if the big sites like YouTube don't adopt it, it's like nothing ever happened. What? Pardon? Are you talking about like if alternate doesn't get big adoption, then it's likely doomed to fail? Is that what you're trying to say? Because if so, I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that, large adoption of alternate is definitely important to it long term. But like, let's say if YouTube didn't adopt, that was like a point he raised. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a decent point. Obviously, adoption of alternate would be important to its long-term goals. Yeah. But if YouTube specifically chose not to adopt it, that would definitely hurt alternate, but it wouldn't be the end of the world for it either. How the fuck is my bandwidth, my kilobits per second is dropping like crazy. That's Xfinity internet right there. But yeah, regarding like big adoption, like with YouTube, for example, YouTube is something that so many people use all the time, all day, every day, even me included. I watch YouTube pretty commonly. What the fuck is happening with these frames dropping so much? I hope I'm not like cutting out too much. Am I cutting out? Have I cut out at all for you guys, or has it been okay? The stream, the OBS is having a stroke here. I don't know if I keep starting to yap and then it keeps cutting me off here. But regarding big adoption with alternate, basically all I was gonna say is that I mean, it's definitely important, but YouTube specifically is an interesting one because I feel like YouTube's very unique. There's not really many other services like YouTube, especially, at its scale too. Do I foresee YouTube adopting alternate? Not really. Kind of not really. I mean, I don't know what the future will hold, but I don't think that like alternate will be a doomed project if it doesn't get YouTube's adoption or whatever. But because there will always be alternatives, right? Now making an alternative to YouTube specifically is a very interesting one because I mean, so many big companies have tried and failed, because of just how large scale YouTube is and everything and how expensive it is to run. But YouTube's very uniquely positioned. But besides YouTube and talking about like other big companies and stuff, getting adoption is very important, I think, to alternate long term. But it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? Just like how alternate's not going to happen overnight. The companies, I mean, obviously most of us weren't alive when the internet was starting out. Actually, some of you guys here probably were. I wasn't. But when the internet was starting out, companies didn't just like adopt it like immediately, right? It took a long time of slowly, moving into adoption, right? Because companies never jump to stuff like that, at least except for AI, right? Except for AI, because the fucking crazy AI craze. But at least with something like the internet or something like that, like that's a major business decision, right? Think about from the perspective of a business, and you see a brand new like technology like alternate. I mean, that's a big decision if your company's going to adopt that. It's not as simple as just like, oh yeah, we'll just create a social media account on this social media platform. No, you're actually connecting infrastructure and actually hosting on this network and everything like that, right? Like that's actually a big task for especially larger companies. So it's difficult to commit to something that large, especially to something that new. But if we take our time and do things right, move slowly, move calculated, try to do things properly, right? Then I think that we can. I think that there is a realistic possibility of large scale adoption of alternate. I think it just will take a lot of time. You know what I mean? I think I think it just will take time, and just uh, first we have to make the technology, then we have to prove that the technology is valid and efficient and everything like that, right? Like we're actively building alternate, at least like an early POC for alternate, right? Just an early working concept, kind of like what endpoint is right now. What endpoint is right now is a working demo and POC, proof of concept implementation, right? So we want to get alternate to that stage. Then when we get alternate to that stage, then we can get more attention on it, then we can work through it, build it up more, scale it, actually get a written specification for it, get proper like formalization and everything. And then that's where you go from there. You move up that ladder, you get those steps taken. And then you start getting initial adoption, which is always slow and always hesitant, right? And then it scales up, we get more attention. You got to think Tor, for example. Tor is not a perfect example, but Tor, when it first came out and everything, when Tor was still very new, it had very little adoption. It may be some like very enthusiast minor adoption and stuff, right? But it wasn't something widely recognized. And only after being around for years and years did it start catching attention, start actually everything like that, right? So this stuff always moves super slow, you know? And that's just, like, you can try to rush and do it through, like, old building tons of hype and getting stuff out super quickly, right? Like, that's kind of how alternate started back when it was called BetaNet. It like blew the fuck up, and it started blowing up and all this stuff, right? And then the whole start of it was a giant shit show, because then unfortunately the crypto bros got word of it and started ejecting themselves and all that shit. And it was poorly communicated on my front, right? I communicated the project pretty poorly and everything like that, right? Like, that's what happens when you try to when you take things too fast. It started accelerating way more rapidly than I predicted, and I was trying to right? Like, it just became a big mess. And that's never how serious, actual, large-scale technology that gets the kind of adoption we're looking for years down the road actually happens. How it actually happens is you take your time, you have a concept for a technology, you build a demo, you work through it, you architect it, and you test it, you build upon it, right? You get to a point where it's minimal, but it's functional, an MVP, and then you present that, and you're like, hey guys, this is what we have. Get your eyes on it. What do you think? And then someone can go in there and assist, and then you develop and build it up more, right? And then you eventually get to a stage where you're comfortable enough getting an actual specification written and getting, formalization done on it, right? And then you take it from there. The next steps after that. That's how we're doing it now. That's because I want alternate to be a serious thing that actually happens. I want alternate to be I'm not here for the hype, right? I'm not here for the flashy thumbnail and the millions of views and the whole I'm not here for that kind of shit. I'm here because I want to actually build technology that works. Late night in a courthouse office head ass. You know how many times I've heard that it looks like I'm in a courtroom? And I don't even disagree with you guys. This looks like whenever they have the like Zoom meetings for the courtrooms, right? And like I look like remember during COVID when they do court hearings during through Zoom and shit? That looks like what's happening right now. It's because of these walls, these older walls. This home was built in the 70s, so better to be hit by reality sooner than later. If not, you'll end up something like the NFT mess. Exactly. Like, when alternate blew up and it started exploding and rapidly, things were moving way too quickly and stuff. I was trying to just like work with it. You know what I mean? I was trying to keep, because like I want the project to do well. And to be fair, I've never tried to do anything like alternate before, right? I've never tried to build a new web before. So when all that was happening, I was just trying to like, I saw it as an opportunity of like, hey, all this attention's on alternate, we can channel that into trying to like get people to like get developers in this, get it working and stuff. And yeah, just hype is never the route to go with for that. Functional is better than famous. That is a really great way to say that, Nathan. Um, Only one can create the other. Exactly. That is actually a really, really elegant way to put it. Yeah, so nowadays, you don't hear much about alternate because it's not flashy and it's not all up in the headlines and all the YouTubers making videos about it or whatever. It's just we have our heads down, we're working, you know what I mean? Pascal is slaving away with the development, and we have our common meetings and we talk about the development stuff and we work on it, but it's steady, stable growth is what it is. And the dropped frames just happened again, so I don't know if you guys heard all that, but slow and steady wins the race. You know what I mean? Half of people on Zoom didn't even use pants. Dude, the frames just dropped again. Fucking hell, man. Shout out Xfinity. Shout out Xfinity for the internet right now. But yeah, while I'm in like a meeting for work or whatever, I'll have like a polo shirt on and whatever to look, to be dressed for the occasion, to be dressed for work. But then damn well I got my pajamas on, my pajama pants on. So I'm wearing pajama pants and a polo shirt. As she came downstairs and they saw me just in a polo shirt and then pajama pants, and I was just like, work from home. And they're like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, considering that there's probably 1,000 things that can go wrong with a very big project like that, I think you handled it very well. We learned a lot. I think we learned a lot. Um, I don't think I handled alternate particularly well at the start, but we course corrected, and that's what matters. I'd rather make mistakes like that early on in the project where we can course correct, right? Instead of falling deeper into that and just leading to a total shithole. I agree with Magnus, since I've seen projects fall apart just from mindset. Mine too. He handled it better than I could have ever. Well, I appreciate that, Nathan. I'm trying. That's all I can ever promise, right? The only promise I can ever actually make is that I'm trying. And I'm not doing alternate for quick money, right? I'm not doing it for just to make a quick buck. I'm not doing it because I want a hype project or whatever, like all those crypto bros who injected themselves into it early on were trying to get me to do. They were trying to say like, hey, pump this coin, bro, send it to the moon, let's go, hype. And I was like, no, man, that's not what I'm here to do, man. You're in the wrong place. I I know I'm only 18, but I feel like my spirit animal, well, not spirit animal, but I feel like a 40-year-old man trapped in like an 18-year-old's body. Because like when I hear like doing all that hype shit, I'm just like, how do you have enough energy to do that? Like, man, I'll tell you right now, I'm too tired for that bullshit. I could not carry on a hype project like that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way. I heard of proposals to improve the quality of video websites that I'm interested on, like eliminating the advertisement formula for one, where the user gives money directly to the creator instead. Yeah, but there's what people want, and then there's what people want. Does that make sense? There's when people think about that, people don't want ads, and they want people want no ads, but they also want free video, and they want high quality video. That's fundamentally contrarian, right? People, when I feel like a lot of people, when they hear like just pay the creator, just pay and then you won't ever see ads, like if they hear that, then they think that that's what they want. That sounds great, but then very little users actually want that. Does that make sense? Like let me give you an example. Let me give you an example here. A lot of people think that their local government sucks, but then they refuse to do anything about it. So, like, for example, like, oh, the mayor sucks, and then the mayoral election happens, and then they don't even bother going to vote. Or, let me give you another example. Like, am I making sense? Like, if hypothetically there was a video platform where you could pay the creators directly and then just watch their shit, no ads, no nothing like that, top quality everything, it would very likely not do very well. It'd probably fit a small niche of users, but most users are just going to keep using YouTube because they don't actually want to pay for video. They don't actually want to pay like that. Most people don't actually want to pay for video. It's as simple as that. But then in their mind, they think that that's what they want. Like that sounds great to them in their, in the moment. But then when it comes to the actual choice of free video YouTube with ads or that, they're going to pick YouTube a lot of the time. I can't speak for every person, but most people are going to pick YouTube. You know what I mean? In other words, people don't know exactly what they want, so they just ask for what they can visualize. Well, everyone wants the world to be more fair. Everyone wants, right? Like, that all sounds great and kosher, but then at the end of the day, like, there's, idealism, then there's reality. Since most creators focus more on engagement, content through drama and attacks to gather advertisement rather than just making normal high quality videos. Yeah, I feel like there's kind of I feel like part of the reason why a lot of YouTube feels like shit now is because there's fundamentally a flawed incentive structure. For a lot of creators, optimizing and maxing for the algorithm and clicks and flashy titles and stuff is more important in what they're incentivized to do instead of making good quality content. Because there's a difference between, that flashy algorithm maximized video or whatever, and then actually good content. There is a difference. It can be both at the same time. It's not, one or the other, but that is just a flaw in the incentive structure that YouTube uses and that a lot of these platforms use, is that it ends up getting to that point. I feel like what we're witnessing is like the late stages of the advertiser incentive structure model that YouTube and many of these other platforms use. Like it will eventually lead to that point. You should be making drama to promote Raven. That's what was it? What was his name? Free Thee. When I made that video about Wind Sucks, that was a big criticism I got from the Wind Sucks video where I did like the analysis on his code base and I found out that it was horrible. It was like absolute dog shit. A lot of people felt like I was trying to stir up beef and drama and stuff to promote Talon. And I always thought that was interesting. I don't know how much of that was just like people trying to find reasons to be upset, and then how many people actually believe that. Because I don't want to just dismiss criticism, right? You know, if people actually believe that I made that video to try to, like, promote Talon and, like, you know, whatever, like, then I want to take that criticism seriously. But whenever I read that criticism, I kind of felt like it was, I felt like it wasn't very serious criticism. Incentives drive behavior. Exactly. Exactly. Gotcha games make most of their fortune through a handful of users. You also need to keep in account that YouTube does this to increase stock value. A private company doesn't need that. Well, yeah, that's another point too, right? Incentives, the incentive structure that YouTube has in place isn't just for the creators; it's for YouTube. Because you're right, YouTube needs to appease their stockholders, increase stock value, and everything like that, right? So, I mean, yeah, when I talk about the incentive structure model and stuff that YouTube has, you're probably thinking of for the creators, and primarily, yes, but it's also the incentive structure for YouTube. But to go back to the whole win sucks thing, and saying that I was using it to promote Talon or whatever, don't use Talon if it's not the right choice for you. Have you ever seen a person trying to start drama to promote their software or whatever literally tell you directly, don't use my software? You can clip this and record it and archive it or whatever. Don't use Talon if it's not the right choice for you. Talon isn't for everybody. It's not the best debloater out there. Talon is not the best Windows optimizer. Talon is not the best Windows debloater, because there is no such thing as the best Windows debloater or optimizer. Talon's fundamentally made with specific goals in mind. And your goals may not align with Talon. It may align with another debloater. And therefore, that other debloater may be your kind of debloater, may be better than Talon. I'm a guy who very much enjoys just running a single PowerShell command after installing Windows. I click 2 buttons and then my system's just debloated, but then everything still works, right? Like, it doesn't remove anything that breaks my system or whatever. And it also tells Microsoft's annoying bullshit to go fuck itself. But, like, my system still works, that I can just install my apps and then get to using my computer and just not have to think about it again. That's what Talon's designed for. Talon's designed for people like me who want that. A lot of people don't want that. They want to meticulously check every box of what they want, right? They want to be able to customize their system, you know, a ton and everything. Maybe they don't need certain things that Talon preserves or whatever, right? Maybe they want it to be a very extreme debloater that debloats it to like the absolute bare minimum bones. And in that case, Talon's not for you. It's as simple as that. You should do your own research, try different options, come to your own conclusions, because when someone tells you that so-and-so is the best option, they're lying to you. And I'm not about to sit here and try to convince you that Talon's the best, because it's not. But just like how no other debloater is the best. And I don't make any fucking money if you use Talon or not. It's open source software, man. If you know, I want people to use Talon because I think I want people to use my software. But, like, if nobody used Talon, I don't lose anything, right? Like, financially or whatever. I'm not like... people using the software doesn't result in monetary benefit for me. So it's not like it's not like if you don't run Talon then I'm losing out on money or whatever. I just like people using my software. How about a user run alternative where creators keep 100% of ad revenue, hosts earn for bandwidth, contributors earn bounties? and moderators receive transparent pay from a separate safety fund. Yeah, try to convince the regular user of that. Try to convince the average everyday user who's not like a tech savvy person. Yeah, try to explain that model to them, buddy. Try to have that conversation with, old Pop Wiggleberry watching his AI generated videos on YouTube with the auto captioning. Like, you know what I mean? Like I bet that structure would probably work great for a small niche of users, but at large scale, like again, I don't think that would. You're not beating YouTube with that. Man, kind of off topic, but YouTube ads are so weird. Sometimes you get stuff that should belong only to the hub. I've seen. I mean, I don't see. If you know, you know. I don't think I can say that without getting banned on YouTube, right? But I've seen from other people that yeah, the ads are really bad. I'm tired of hearing about shareholders. Those guys are the reason games are being ruined. Yeah, yeah. By the way, KO, how are you doing? Hoping everything's going smooth. Yeah, I haven't made any kind of update video or whatever, but currently I'm staying in the upstairs of my friend's house. I'm staying with my friend and his family, and I'm living in their upstairs. There's no walls. Well, there is walls, but there's no like. There's the downstairs, then there's just a balcony in like the upstairs area, and then there's the stairs. So like, there's no door. So the privacy is worse. But I mean, living situation's stable for now, at least. And I did start my new job. I made a post on YouTube about that, like the community post or whatever. I did start my job. It's a work from home job. It's with Stride, formerly K12. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them, but started my job with them as a CX backend engineer. Sure, perfection is a mirage, which we can chase but never catch. Talon is a very nice compromise between simplicity and customization of deep loading level. Yeah, because Talon was made with a very specific goal, a very specific focus. There's already deep loaders out there for the tech savvy people and all of that stuff with the heavy customization stuff. But before Talon, there really was no good alternative for just the average, regular, everyday users who just want to run something and be done and not deal with all that stuff. And that's what Talon is. It's targeting a very specific niche that no one else was doing, so I did it, right? Because I was so sick and tired of manually debloating myself all the time and stuff. So I made Talon, and that's what that is. Like, I don't try to pretend Talon is for everyone, because it's not. I know that some other projects, I'm not going to name names or whatever, but some other projects really try to sound like they're the best option for literally everybody, but they're just not. They never are. Talon isn't, and they aren't either. Hope rent is cheap at least. It's the same exact amount of rent I was paying when I was staying in the other place before the lease ran up and I had to move. It's not the cheapest rent in the world. It's definitely not like super cheap or nothing, but it's definitely better than like if I was trying to rent a house, or like if I was trying to get my own like whole ass apartment. Like, it's definitely cheaper than that right now. The whole housing market is so fucked right now. Imagine kicking your kid out at 18 in this fucking economy. Holy shit. At the balcony of this room is there's a bunch of shit kind of against the wall, like a bunch of boxes, and like there's a pool table over there with like a ton of boxes and shit stacked up on it, like an old mattress and everything. So it kind of creates this like pseudo wall of shit that gives me better privacy, at least like visually. People can't just like look up into here because of all that shit in the way. But like auditory wise, like it's kind of harder to do videos on certain days because when people are home, they can, just hear my blabbering, and I can hear them is a big issue too because there's dogs here too, and they like to bark at literally anything. So it makes doing videos harder as well because then it's like, you know, midway through recording, they just start barking because some dude just walked down the sidewalk, so they're barking like a fucking maniac for 5 minutes. You see, a lot of people are blame the boomers, daggone boomers. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not entirely at fault, but I'm not going to say they aren't partially at fault. They definitely are partially at fault. But a big part of it too is definitely private equity. Oh, the stream probably just died for a second because I saw the kilobits per second drop to 0 for like 5 seconds. But anyways, as I was saying before, fucking private equity done took my stream down. Damn it. Holy shit, it literally happened again. Every time I say the term private equity, my stream drops. Maybe it is actually private equity behind the scenes pulling the strings or some shit. Literally every time I say the word private equity, my stream fucking dies. So, like, jokes aside though, a big reason why the housing economy is so fucked right now is because of private equity. A lot of people like to go, oh, it's all the boomers' fault entirely or whatever. That's the boomers, right? Because that's an easy cop out. But in reality, a large chunk of it is due to private equity also. The wall of shit is essential in the design of a modern house, true. Just used Talon debloater for the first time on my Legion Go. Oh, nice. It feels awesome. Thank you, man. I also bought your hat a while back. Oh, I really appreciate that, dude. How has the hat been, by the way? Any people who did buy the Raven hat, how is it? Have you actually like gotten it yet? Have you been able to try it? I'm actually curious what your guys' thoughts are on it. We picked a manufacturer that I believe is very has a strong reputation, and I actually very thoroughly battle test my hat. Me and my friend very commonly go out for hours on end, just venturing outside in the fucking Texas summer heat, so I'm sweating balls. And the hat's been put through the fucking ringer, and it's been holding up pretty good for me. So I am actually curious how it's been for you guys, but like, I really want to make sure that the hats are actually good, because the last thing I want is to just be one of those kinds of people who just slap a logo on a cheap-ass hat and charge fucking whatever for the hat, and then it turns out to just be some, like, cheap made-in-China shit, Do you think people would adopt YouTube alternatives if it was like ChatGPT and YouTube combined? You're right, it would have to provide something entirely new. Do you think YouTube will ever die of age? I don't think YouTube will ever die of age. I think YouTube would die from shitty management. I think shitty management consistently and it getting bad enough can actually lead to YouTube's death. But then the problem with YouTube dying is that there's literally no one to fill the void. There's no one else to fill the void. At least to the scale that YouTube is. And also your idea of like an alternative with ChatGPT and YouTube combined, that just sounds like the next Y Combinator startup. The hat is fairly high quality. Notice better than cheap stuff, that's for sure. Well, I'm very glad to hear that, man. I find the hat pretty good so far. I mean, I wear it pretty often. I like it. The internet is so young. It might be the case that YouTube will never die. Maybe. I mean, YouTube is fundamentally infrastructure. Like YouTube's a video sharing platform. It's infrastructure. When a platform like YouTube gets that large and that embedded and everything, it's infrastructure at this point. And you want infrastructure to last a long time. So, like, yeah. I honestly imagine YouTube will be around for a very long time. Unless if shitty management really just fucking kills it. Oh, whoa, you're live when I'm awake. Yeah. That's a familiar face. Hello, Aquek. Haven't seen you around in quite a while. Quite a long time. Hey Kale, I'm 22 and I want you to not worry about your financials, housing situation because it will definitely get worse. Don't worry about anything if you can't control it, just my personal advice. Well, yeah, what's the point in stressing on shit that I can't control? Exactly. So I'm instead focusing on the stuff I can. My living situation, at least in this moment, is stable. And getting my job started, like I said, I'm working right now. And I'll improve that situation and up my hours and everything and try to get better pay, try to get more stable pay, work from there, and just move up and up and up, one step at a time. Just try, you know? In this immediate moment, I'm not worried about my, like, living situation or whatever. Like, in this immediate moment, I'm actually doing alright. There's like a percentage of nuclear war happening every year. I don't remember the number, but I bet every year YouTube is closing is less likely than a nuke going off. True, honestly. Feels like the odds of a nuke being set off and like the world going into like a nuclear winter is more likely than YouTube dying. The only thing that would kill YouTube, in my opinion, would be just really shitty leadership, really serious mismanagement. But I mean, people tolerate a lot of YouTube's shit. Like, people put up with YouTube's bullshit quite a lot. And I think that's because a lot of people don't want to move and because they don't, trying to move away from YouTube, like, at a large scale, like a large scale move off of YouTube, where else do people go? Right? Where else do people reasonably go? There's like no other option, really. And then YouTube is so big they can basically do anything. It's a monopoly. Yeah, pretty much. Except the issue with YouTube is that usually with monopolies, the reason why they're a monopoly is because they're stifling competition or whatever. YouTube's a monopoly because there is no competition. No sufficient competition, at least, that like can operate at their scale. There is no other option. Like, and so it creates a really strange situation where it's like, yeah, it is a monopoly, but it's like they kind of are the only choice, like, actually. You know, I only put up with YouTube for main stuff, but most of my entertainment comes from outside YouTube. Yeah, I feel like getting most of your entertainment from a single source, most of anything from a single source, is generally not good. So it's always good to diversify, you know. But not too many people do that because of convenience. It's convenient to have everything in one place. And I don't even blame them for that. Because, I mean, yeah, it is true. Like, I personally value convenience a lot. And I see the convenience in having just a single platform for all that, right? Did you guys know I have this, by the way? Did I ever publicly show this? I have a little Chick-fil-A fucking... You guys remember the Chick-fil-A cows? He's just sitting on top... He sits on top of my computer. Like, my computer case is right over here. He just sits on top of it. I won that at a competition. At a hackathon. I went to a hackathon once. And I won that. It was like a competition or whatever where you had to type like 60 Linux commands, and you had to type them properly, and you had to type them as quickly as possible, and the first to finish won some shit. And like, that was the prize. Of course, I mean, I don't even think there needs to be any. Yeah, of course, I won that. There were other people trying and stuff too, but yeah, there was no shot that nerd of all nerds was gonna lose that. Oh, it says eat more chicken. It was mirrored. Yeah, it is. My webcam's mirrored. It says eat more chicken. I don't know if you can tell. Nope. Chicken. But it's chicken spelt wrong because the cow wrote it. Cows can't spell. Oh yeah, I got crazy fucking Canes merch. You guys know Raisin Canes? I got some crazy fucking Canes merch. They gave me a fucking because they sponsored the event or whatever. So I got like I got like a lanyard. I got like a wristband. I got like tons of shit for Raisin Canes. This was years ago, by the way. Maybe not years, but like maybe 2 years ago. I want to say. Find your community, find your niche. Yep, that's really the best way to go about it. You know. I like to think of myself as a problem solver. I hate band-aid solutions. And what I mean by band-aid solutions is like things that solve surface level problems that technically solve the problem but don't really get down to the root cause and actually solve the root cause of the problem. And you know, Talon was bred from just me being so frustrated with a consistent problem I had. So, you know, I just said screw it and made a solution that worked for me. And it turns out many other people were looking for that same solution. So it just worked out. Same with like endpoint protocol, right? All this chat control bullshit going on right now, and Discord getting worse and worse and shitifying. It's like, you know, and I constantly have to use email every day for work and other bullshit. I hate email with a passion. Email fucking sucks. Email's atrocious. And, you know, honestly, one of my largest criticisms of something like Proton Mail or Tuta Mail is that they're band-aid solutions. You can try to make email secure or whatever, but fundamentally email is just not secure. You know, you can try to do PGP over email and stuff, but fundamentally email is just not secure. And, you know, that's going to be a constant just uphill battle. So instead of trying to make email secure, it's like, fuck it, why don't we just make something that's essentially just email, but secure, like fundamentally, like it's in the protocol. And that's how endpoint, that's the whole idea behind endpoint, right? And then something that bred from endpoint 2 is like, you know, it's email like, it's inspired by email, It's fundamentally email, but if PGP was built into it, basically, that's kind of the easiest way to describe endpoint. But like, it's also capable of being used for like chat, kind of like more typical, like, you know, Discord type chat. Like, it could in theory be used for that too. And so it's problem solving, like trying to get down to the root cause and actually solving real problems. That's ultimately what I try to do, at least. Now, there's arguments to be had over how well I solve problems. And yeah, that's up for debate. But like I said, at least I'm trying. You know, that's all I can ever promise, is that I'm trying. What's endpoint? You can give the video a watch if you want. It's on, sorry, I just got a message and it distracted me. I got a message from a friend of mine. I want to go hang out with him on Friday. It's that same friend I was talking about, that if we do our walks where we just like venture out for hours and shit. I want to do that again on Friday. But anyways, what's endpoint? Well, I think I explained it pretty decently. It's basically, imagine email, except it was fundamentally secure. There you go. That's basically endpoint. It just imagine email, but PGP, you know, like actual cryptography and shit, was built into the protocol fundamentally. Just like that really is just the easiest way to explain it. It's actually a fairly simple protocol. There's a working demo and POC. There's a working proof of concept code implementation that is readily available right now on our GitHub, and a working demo, so you can actually run the code yourself and try it yourself. Like, it's, you know, it's not production ready, so you shouldn't use endpoint. Like, you shouldn't actually be building with endpoint yet. You shouldn't actually make anything built upon endpoint just yet, because we're still actively building it. But it's a start, you know. Finally, a good email alternative. That's what we're trying to do. That's what it's basically trying to be. Email is just so entrenched into everything, you know. Email is so deeply entrenched. So trying to replace email is like essentially that's like kind of an impossible task. But at least having a solid actual alternative that's viable is what endpoint is trying to be, you know. Trying to replace email entirely, you know, like, because again, just so entrenched. But at least having an alternative, like, that's what it is. There, if you want to learn more about endpoint and kind of the technical side of it or whatever, the official Raven YouTube channel has a good video on it, if you want to go watch that, just explaining how it works and stuff. Or you can just go look at the code base if you're more technical and actually see how it works directly. Right now, endpoint, though, I mentioned at the start of the stream, but right now, endpoint literally can only handle one-on-one communication. We need to implement multi-recipient communication stuff, you know, but it's a start. Sometimes I have to remind myself that, like, we're only at the very beginning with Raven. Like, it really doesn't... I always feel like Raven should be so much further than it is, but then I have to remind myself that Raven hasn't even been an actual LLC until January of this year. Raven wasn't even a company until January of this year. Raven's technically been around since 2024, but, like, we literally haven't even been taking this shit seriously until Talon, and then we haven't even been, like, around that long, you know? So, I mean, we're just getting started with this shit, you know? You know, an interesting, actually, while we're still semi on the topic of endpoint and Raven and shit like that, I had a very interesting discussion with Pharaoh, who's the co-founder of Raven, who's no longer a member of Raven officially, at least. He's no longer really a member of Raven officially or whatever. He left, but he still, him and I, he and I still talk a lot and discuss Raven stuff. Still, he still helps from time to time, but just not in a official capacity with a title and shit. Um, Something him and I were talking about that was fairly interesting was that endpoint when it gets built up enough, and then alternate when it gets in a stable enough state, it would be completely feasible to actually have alternate or endpoint over alternate, because endpoint solves a very specific problem. Um, it solves the security of like the actual messaging, but then it doesn't solve like decentralized transport. It doesn't solve like that issue. Oh, the kilobits dropped. Hold on. The kilobits dropped. Come back, stream, please. All right, it's good now. But yeah, like when endpoint gets to a stable enough state and then alternate gets to a stable enough state, it would be completely feasible to use alternate. Oh my god. The fucking kilobits per second again, dude. Every time I start trying to talk. I don't know if I'm still like, I don't know if I can still be heard right now, but every single time I try to yap, it just keeps cutting off. I'll try to say it quickly. Endpoint over alternate would be very cool because endpoint is the actual like communication layer, and then alternate is the transport layer. Stream didn't die. I actually got to get out what I was trying to say. My stream keeps... You know what I think it is? I think I have the bitrate set too high. I think I need to lower the bitrate. I think my... because I'm actually using one of those USB like network cards that you plug in to the computer. So I think that's just like starting to have a stroke. You're not cutting out on my end? Okay, then you just heard me sounding like a total psychopath repeating myself over and over again for like 5 minutes. Sorry for repeating myself, man. I'm just trying to make sure that, the stream is like just... Yeah, welcome to... We're really living in cyberpunk, fellas. Welcome to 2026. I think that'll be very interesting, though, when alternate gets to a mature enough state where it's actually stable and everything, which is a long time from now, but when that happens and when endpoint is at that state too, I would love to spend some time actually experimenting with using alternate as the transport layer for endpoint and having endpoint over alternate, because then you would get the decentralized, censorship resistant transport of alternate, and then the actual message security of endpoint. Like, I think that would be a very strong form of communication. The plan's all coming together. We didn't plan that at all, by the way. That idea came to me and I was just like, oh shit. Like, I didn't even think about that until then. And I was like, wait a second, that would work. It was like, whoa. I accidentally did something. I wish YouTube would actually tell me how many people are watching the stream. I am curious. 12. It says 12 people are watching. Holy shit. Oh, I'm starting to feel it. Oh, I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. It's 1 a.m. now. I started this stream at like maybe 11 something, like 11:50 something. We've been streaming for an hour on the dot. As I said that just now, the stream hit an hour. I have been streaming for 1 hour now. I have a meeting tomorrow. Don't tell my boss. But I literally have a meeting tomorrow. Today. I'm saying tomorrow. I have a meeting today, I should say. And instead I'm staying up doing this stream. 7 more to go. True. True. Just keep streaming until the meeting, then invite your boss to the stream. Oh, that'd be so fucking funny. Oh, that would be horrible. that would be terrible. Oh, you guys want to see something else I got? I have some ancient technology. Do you guys want to see it? I got some really cool tech from like the fucking 2010s, like maybe 2008, or like, anywhere from 2008 to like maybe 2013, like around that range. I got some really cool tech. You guys want to see it? There's nothing like you never see shit like this in the modern day. Where is it? There it is. It's a ThinkPad? No, it's not a ThinkPad. This shit actually is the most like early 2000s tech shit ever. Like legitimately ever. And this is from an old data center, like an enterprise data center from like the early 2010s, 2013 or whatever. This is an ancient artifact. So you never stumble upon this type of shit anymore, man. You guys want me to just keep fucking sitting here jerking you off here, or do you want me to actually show it? Magnus said yes, but okay, I'll stop blue balling you here. So this is something from a company called Secure Networkers. That if that isn't the most fucking early 2000s bullshit you've ever heard. If it's not a ThinkPad, don't show it. Okay, fuck you, man. Fine. Fine, I won't show it. Fine. Fine. Alright. Change the subject then. I'm fucking playing. I'm playing. Notice something? This is a USB drive. We won, but at what cost? Look at this shit. So one end is a USB drive. The other is just plastic. So you might be like, well then what is this? It's a motherfucking wristband. It's a USB drive wristband. I'm not even fucking kidding. Let me put it on real quick. It's old though, so it's kind of hard to put on. Yeah, look at this shit. Secure Networkers. I know the cameras. I know the camera's mirrored. That says Secure Networkers. And look, it's a USB drive. It's a fucking USB drive as a wristband, and look, you pop it off. When do you ever see shit like this? When do you ever use this? When do you ever see this shit? So imagine, because secure networkers, you know what this was? This was like enterprise data center shit. So this company was actually like doing like enterprise data center stuff back in like the early 2008, to 2013, whatever. Um, and there were dudes walking around fucking, the whole server rooms with all the servers and shit, the server racks and all that. Dudes walking around with a laptop in one hand and this on their fucking wrist. How fucking sick is that? I do not need this. I will not ever need this. I want this. This is the sickest shit ever. This is so fucking cool. Cause genuinely, like, there were dudes walking around with this shit on their wrists in like fucking enterprise data centers, dude. Like, my theory, my original theory at least, was that this was a key card, like a USB key, because a lot of enterprise systems, especially and stuff, their BIOS is locked. I stopped talking, by the way, because the bitrate died again, and I don't want the bitrate to die while I'm yapping about this. Um, does it still work? Yes. I did actually plug in the drive. There are still files on it. There's an enterprise copy of Microsoft Office 2008 Enterprise. There's Microsoft Office 2008 Enterprise on this fucking thing. There's also like some company documents and shit on here too that I don't know if I'm allowed to have. Um, I don't know if I should be admitting that on camera, but there's actual company shit on here. Like backups of data and shit are on this fucking drive. That made all of the goth girls crazy back in the day. You can bet that. Yeah, I'm about to be getting all of the bitches for wearing this. Dudes going around flexing their watches or whatever, and meanwhile I'm fucking, that dude. I should do one of those videos. Those videos of the dudes who are like, "Oops, I dropped my wallet. I dropped my wallet," and it's like they're like very clearly showing off their like watch or whatever. Like, "Oops, I dropped my wallet," and I'm showing this off. There was also, dude, you want to know something crazy? I don't know if Secure Networkers is still around, but Microsoft needs to get on their ass because there was a free like key activation software on here, like for activating Windows, like activating copies of Windows for free. There's software on here for that. So Secure Networkers wasn't paying for Windows licenses. Even the enterprise data centers aren't paying for Windows. How crazy is that? I need to dig through that more, but there is a lot of ancient fucking history on that thing. That's probably one of the coolest things I own, I'm not gonna lie. Oops, I dropped my wallet, pulls out entire laptop and plugs it in. Oh man, I should totally do that for a video. Oh my god, that would be so funny. Imagine if I just uploaded like a 30-second video. That was just some bullshit. Was the laptop on the other wrist? You You better don't plug that license into a Mac because Microsoft would lose it. So something else too that I don't have like immediately with me, so I can't show it on stream. But I actually have, you know, like the offline Google Dino game where like you can where like when you don't have internet on a Chromium browser, you can play like the Google Dinosaur game where you press space and you jump over cacti and shit. I have golden Google Dino earrings, little earrings right here, like that big, that go right here. I have little earrings for the Google Dino. It really makes me want to get my ears pierced. I'm really debating it now. Getting my ears pierced purely just to wear the fucking Google Dinos. I would rock that shit. I'll tell you right now. If I did end up getting my ears pierced, you would best believe I'd be fucking rocking that shit everywhere. It was one of the coolest fucking things I've ever actually gotten. I'm not even gonna lie. Single-handedly makes me want to pierce my ears. Where'd you find or buy those? From a fucking thrift store. I don't go thrifting, but my sisters do. My sister, my stepsister. And they went thrifting, and they found those at a thrift store. And they got it for, like, dirt cheap. And then they gave it to me. The Google Dino game is the one thing I miss about Chrome. Yeah. But dude, those single-handedly are making me debate like going and actually getting my ears pierced just to fucking wear those. Cuz that would be so sick. It would be so out of place though because I am not the kind of guy you would think to see walking around wearing golden Google Dino earrings, but I 100% would. I need to get those out someday and show them, like either on video or on stream or something. I need to get those and show them. Raven stalks after wearing the dino earrings. True. I wear the Google Dino earrings, and all of a sudden we're getting like thousands of dollars in donations. God, Raven stocks would be terrible. Raven's never going to be a public company, by the way. You can mark my words on that. Raven's never going public. Having to sit there and suck up to investors and having them influence my decisions and shit for my company, fuck that, man. God, I could never. Like, holy shit. Yo, man, how's it going? It's going, man. It's going. Just chilling. If y'all went public, your shareholders would unironically sue. True. I would be the worst at running a public company. Like a publicly traded company, I'd be the worst at it. All the investors would leave. All the investors would hate my guts. I am just terrible with that dynamic. That would never work with me at the helm. It just never would. What's your living situation like now? You found a place, it looks like. So I'm actually staying with a friend and his family. My friend and his family were kind enough to let me stay with them. So I'm living in their upstairs, paying rent. And so far, at least for now, my living situation's stable. So that's a good thing, What do you think about the Ladybird way of sponsoring? Supposedly they don't get influenced by the investors. The Ladybird way of sponsoring. You mean just like having donators? People who just give you money and you like display them on your website, and that's kind of that. I don't think Ladybird has like I think they're just literally just like regular ass sponsors, right? I mean, if a company wanted to pay us like a bunch of money to display their logo or whatever on our website, hell yeah. I'd be very open to that. Why not? I think that'd be mutually beneficial. I think that'd be cool. I don't see much harm in that. God bless. That's good, man. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. Beyond thankful for what you and Raven do. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Haven't been able to donate yet, but I appreciate the work y'all do. Well, hey, man, you don't have to donate. You know, even when I was going through all of that, even though I still am going through, dealing with all that and stuff, like, you don't have to donate, man. Like, I'm getting my shit figured out. Like, another thing, I don't know, I'm guessing you weren't in the stream long enough to hear this, but I have a job now. I got a job with Stride, formerly K12. If, I don't know if you ever heard of them, you can look them up, but I'm a CX backend engineer, which CX stands for customer experience. So, started off that job maybe 2 weeks ago. So, started off a job, it's work from home. I'm gonna get my hours up eventually and be working more, trying to make money. Living situation, at least right now, is stable. So, you know, it's slow but steady, you know. Things are moving slowly. It's one step at a time, but it's coming along. So, and donations, I'm not like, if nobody were to donate, I mean, donations are definitely helpful, like definitely helpful. For example, you know, like we had to get a new server, a new VPS that wasn't exactly cheap. And that VPS is to assist with alternate development and testing and stuff, running the end-to-end tests and all that, because the end-to-end tests start to get a bit computationally expensive, especially for Pascal, who has a cheap laptop, right? That's starting to struggle to run the tests and everything. So we are ending up having to buy, more hardware and stuff, VPSs and stuff, and the donations, we don't rely on them to cover those costs, but they definitely help with stuff like that. They definitely make stuff like that more possible, because without the donations, technically, yes, I can just pay that stuff out of pocket like I do for most Raven stuff. But the donations help pad that, where my money can go more towards me and the stuff that I need. And, I'm not spending, as much on Raven expenses and stuff, and the donations can help pad that. That's a big benefit of the donations. So they're very helpful for that. But if you don't want to donate, just spreading the word helps a ton. Literally a ton. So if you just want to talk about Raven, just spread the word about us, man. That helps tons more. That literally helps a ton. I won't say tons more, but that's just like, if you want to help and you can't contribute financially, whatever, that is the greatest possible thing you can do to help us out. Just something I'd like to do in the future. Well, yeah, if you want to donate, if you're in the financial situation to do so or whatever, don't feel obligated to donate. Is kind of the whole point I was getting at. I never want you guys to feel like you need to donate. You don't need to donate. I hate when I see companies like Mozilla and shit making you feel like you need to donate, or even Wikipedia. Have you guys ever seen Wikipedia's begging, where it sounds like Wikipedia is on the brink of total collapse and it's the end of the world, unless if you just donate? Like, I don't want you guys to feel like that. Raven, if you don't donate, Raven will still be fine. But it helps. Definitely does help. So you can, if you want to, if you're in the situation to do that, I really appreciate it, man. Your tools have made me and my buddy's PC so much better, and I'm glad to hear you got a job, though. Well, thanks, man. I'm happy you're enjoying Talon. And tell your friend I said thanks for using Talon also. Are you working full time? Not yet. Only 20 hours a week right now, but I'm hoping to get. I'm looking to get my hours bumped up in the coming weeks, and then I'll be moving up to working full time. Oh yeah, the Wikipedia begging stuff is pretty funny. Yeah, I find that shit so stupid. Like, it's almost embarrassing. Like, you know, to be a company like Wikipedia and just like groveling at everyone's feet, begging them for like pennies, like just please any little morsel, like I'm begging you, like literally on their hands and fucking knees, like crying. Like, I don't want that for my company. That's just embarrassing, you know? But no, the big reason is because I just don't want to be like, I don't want to use rough situations or whatever to like try to manipulate my audience into feeling like they need to donate or whatever. I'm going through tough shit right now. That's my business, not y'all's, right? Like, you know, you guys shouldn't feel responsible for my situation. You guys shouldn't feel responsible for that, you know? Does that make sense? Oh yeah, man. Anytime my homies or family need to clean and solve Windows, I show them your tool and how it works. Well, that's very cool, man. I really appreciate that. I always love to see that. I really do. That's cool, man. I'm happy to hear you're enjoying it. Like, actually, man. Also, little side tangent. If your company relies on donations to survive, then you're a failing company. Like, you're just bad at business if you're having to like beg and rely on the goodwill of random internet strangers and stuff to donate to keep you alive, right? Like, basically putting the financial responsibility of your company on to just kind-hearted people. Like, I don't know, something about that just feels messed up. I mean, very clearly, I don't think there's anything wrong with donations because we have them, right? But I do see something wrong with like relying on them for survival kind of thing like that. Like, I think that's a little, for a company at least, I think that's a little like, come on. I don't get that vibe at all, man. You good? Thanks, man. You're young, and I want to support when I can, especially when going through rough patches like that. I get how life is. You good at keeping your head up and keep moving. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Seriously, man, I do. Thank you. Getting through life one step at a time. Life's a fucking shit show, but we thug it out. You know, all things considered, it actually isn't that terrible. Things aren't that bad. Can't complain. Been better, been worse. Thug it out, exactly. Yes, sir. I wonder if I have any more fucking, like, cool ancient tech to show off. I don't think I do, but I think it depends. If you only do open source software, one of the few ways to get money, it's donations. Also, if you get all the money, you might lose the plot. Well, yeah. So, open source software is different because what I'm talking about is like full on companies, right? Like Mozilla or Wikipedia, right? They try to make you think that they're not exactly companies. They try to really make you feel like they're like just people running a project. But no, Mozilla and Wikipedia and those companies are actual. They are full on companies. They are companies. You know what I mean? When it's a small team of individuals just working on a project, right, and just uh, need financial support, and they're not making any money off it because it's just free open source software, or whatever. That's a different story, right? That's a different story entirely. I can see that, and I don't see much wrong with that at all. But even then, even in that case, I think that like constantly groveling and begging and shit's also just kind of lame. But it's a lot more reasonable in that case compared to like if a giant ass fucking company like Wikipedia doing that shit, right? If I remember correctly, like the leading person of Wikipedia is getting paid like a $400,000 a year salary. Like you can't you can't be making that kind of money for your executives and then still be begging, acting like you're on the brink of collapse. Like, what are you doing, man? Do you have an idea of what the next steps for Talon are? You see, Talon is in an interesting state, in my opinion. I've never once until now, until recently, had a project of mine reach a state of maturity and stability that Talon has. I feel like Talon in its current state is like fairly fleshed out. Like it's fairly stable. It's like Talon is pretty stable software now. I would actually go as far as to say that Talon just is stable software at this point. Like I feel like Talon is at a stage now where it's just kind of like it's kind of any more updates to Talon past this point, it's like what do I do now? Right? Like I've actually thought about Talon and I was like trying to think of, what else to add in a future update or whatever. We could add more language support, like support for more languages. We can add like what really is there left to do other than just like maintenance, you know what I mean? Like just maintenance updates, keeping it up to date and everything. Um I kind of struggle to think of new additions that would actually be like good, that would actually be beneficial. Because Talon's just kind of at a point where it does its job, it does it well, it serves its purpose, you know? Like, I don't know. It's in an interesting state for me. I feel like I literally am starting to struggle to think of what next to add to Talon. Before, for the for Talon's entire lifespan up until very recently, there's always been something that I can think of to add that's like genuinely a great benefit. But I literally am struggling to think of like what to do now with Talon. And I think that's a good place for it to be in because Talon is supposed to just be boring and predictable, right? I don't want Talon to be flashy and the most flashy thing or whatever. The way I view Talon is it should just be consistent and boring and reliable, right? That's what I'm aiming for with Talon is just reliability. I don't want Talon to be constantly being filled with new crazy things or whatever. I would like if just Talon just did its job, did it well, and that's that. Like nothing more, nothing less. It's just solid. You know what I mean? And in that case, where do you go from there when you reach that stage? Like you kind of just do nothing. um, It just works, Todd H. You got past you got it to pass Microsoft security stuff, right? Not necessarily. So fundamentally, I don't want to get too technical for this stream unless if you guys wanted me to. In that case, I'm willing to. I'm willing to pull out the paint.net and draw graphs and stuff, but kind of the high level summary of it is just that the way antiviruses fundamentally work and the way that Talon fundamentally works and other open source software is that fundamentally the odds of getting the green light from Defender is basically slim to none, just because Talon, what it fundamentally does, Talon fundamentally behaves like malware. It's not malware, obviously, but it makes changes to your Windows registry, it uninstalls applications, it makes system changes to system services and stuff like that, it runs PowerShell scripts, all that stuff, right? Which is all kind of behavior that you see in malware. And all that antiviruses do, all that they're looking for is known patterns of malware. That's all an antivirus does, is it just looks for known patterns of behavior in software that match known malware. And in that case, then it's Talon does fundamentally behave like malware. So as a result, it gets bad results with Windows Defender and other antiviruses. That's just how it is. And that's not exclusive to Talon. That's with any Windows debloater out there. But the only reason why you don't see, Windows Defender having a stroke with other Windows debloaters is because they often use a trick where you run a certain type of PowerShell command. That's usually like IRM and then a URL and then like the pipe and then IEX. And that's a clever trick to actually circumvent Windows Defender that a lot of them use. And Talon uses that now so that we actually don't deal with Windows Defender problems anymore. So when you ask, like, you got it to pass Microsoft security stuff, half yes, half not. Like, technically, from an end user perspective, to run Talon, all you have to do is run a single PowerShell command and it just works. So yes, there is no more, Windows Defender manually, temporarily disabling stuff and all that shit anymore. You just run a command and it does it all for you. But technically, that's, we haven't technically gotten around Windows Defender stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like, technically Windows Talon still gets flagged by Defender, but we just use a clever trick now to circumvent that. Can I use Talon on personal devices that have already a lot of storage? For example, my mother's personal computer without losing data? Yes. Unless if the data is actually stored on OneDrive. So Talon by default does remove OneDrive, and a lot of people think that their files are on their PC when they're actually on OneDrive, which is, their cloud storage service or whatever. So technically the files aren't actually on your computer's disk, they're actually in OneDrive. So just double check and make sure that your files aren't actually on OneDrive and make sure they're actually like on your computer's disk. And then if that's the case, then yeah, you won't lose anything. You just run Talon and it'll, yeah. Talon doesn't like delete your personal files and stuff. Makes sense. So there's no way to really get past that. Exactly. That's just how Talon fundamentally is, and that's with many other debloaters. I don't think a debloater can pass Defender. If it does, it probably does nothing. Exactly. It's the fundamental behavior of what a debloater is. You know what I mean? And antiviruses don't have context. Antiviruses are stupid. They're dumb. They don't have context of this is a Windows debloater. Because if they have the context of a Windows debloater, then the behavior it inhibits makes a lot of sense. But because they don't have that context of, this is a Windows debloater, it's just going based off general patterns. And most general software doesn't do that kind of stuff. Hi, why I follow you. YouTube comments, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube chat is something special. I don't know, man. Why do you follow me? I don't know. Maybe Talon, maybe alternate, maybe endpoint. I'm seeing some cool videos, maybe. I mean, yeah, just like skim through my channel's videos, see if anything rings a bell. Maybe you subscribe because of a project. Yeah, I mean, you tell us exactly, man. Like, I don't know. Nice, I listened to you. I'm bored. Don't worry. All right. Well, hey, man. Glad you're here. I mean, why do you think I started the stream? I started the stream just because I can't sleep. I'm kind of a insomniac, so couldn't sleep. So I felt like yapping. So I just started yapping. Thanks for tuning in, though, man. And technically, it's not insomnia. I have something called somnophobia. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of it. Somnophobia, a short summary of it is like, it's essentially the fear of sleeping. I don't know if that makes sense. But like, the process of falling asleep is like, there's a fear of like the process of falling asleep. Does that make sense? The best just smoke weed. No thanks, man. Sounds scary. I mean, yeah, it's like, I struggle to fall asleep. Now, don't get me wrong, I love sleep. When I get to a point of being asleep, I love sleep. I love sleep a lot. I love sleeping, man. But like actually having to relax myself and like start falling asleep and shit, that process, like I hate that. So, oftentimes I end up just staying up. I used to fall into this pretty nasty cycle where I would literally just stay up until I literally was so exhausted and so tired I could barely keep my eyes open anymore. And then I would finally just crash and fall asleep for like 11 hours straight. And then I'd wake up and it'd be like 7 p.m. And I'd be from like 7 p.m. to like 11 a.m. I'd just be awake. I don't know if I know I'm at the verge of sleep, I do feel impending doom. I don't know. My mind's a little weird. It's not a big fan of sleeping. Insomnia can even manifest in different ways, like falling asleep and not getting enough sleep or feeling unrested. If the problem is falling asleep, then I suggest herbal teas, medication, or weed. The third option is pretty funny to me, but definitely not doing that third option, I'll tell you that. But herbal teas, yeah, maybe. Like, I could give it a shot. I don't know how effective it would be, but like maybe. I haven't had tea in forever, man. And it's funny because I actually do like tea. I never seek out tea, but when I have it, I enjoy it. Am I able to work with you? Even though everything's already set up with Town, I like what you're doing a lot and I respect it very much. Always send me a text. We are both pretty similar. Yeah, sure, man. Join the community Discord server. If you go to the Raven website and scroll to the very bottom, then like in the footer of the website, there's a link to the Discord server, community Discord server. Join in, man. I really like how similar we are. I wish we could work together, but brother, genuinely, yeah, sure, man. Fuck yeah. Hop on in, man. Community Discord server. Join in. Let me know who you are. Always looking for people who want to help out, man. I'm in the Discord, brother. You never answered me. Oh, did I? Well, if you sent a message while I'm streaming, then that's probably why. But if you sent it like a few days ago and I haven't just responded yet, then maybe... I mean, did you like try to reach me in the Discord server, or did you like send me a private message? Because I never read my Discord messages. if you're expecting to reach me via Discord messages, I never read those. So, uh, just like I sent it months ago, yeah, I never read my Discord DMs. So, um, if you sent me a Discord DM, you can just like at me in the public Discord server. Let me know who you are, and we can chat. Am I had a similar thing, except when I took my ADHD medicine, I slept 1,000 years in 8 hours. Is touching grass a rumor to you? Nope. I like grass. I'm a tech guy myself. Oh, you're that guy who was yapping. I read the messages out of whack. Do you think Windows will be able to get people back if they make Copilot and such opt-in and other changes? I think that winning people back, the people who already like migrated over to Linux, because you got to think, reaching a tipping point where you're gonna switch your entire fucking operating system just like because you're that fed up with an operating system like Windows, winning those people back is very hard. I feel like the odds of doing that successfully pretty low. But I think there's two outcomes that are very likely. Well, I think two things are pretty obvious. So first off is that the percentage of people who got fed up enough to actually switch their operating system over to Linux or whatever and aren't coming back is a very low percentage of the Windows user base. Like it might seem like a lot if you're like really involved in those ecosystems, those, communities of people, but like that's like a blip on their radar, you know, compared to like all the users who actually use Windows. Out of I think, what did they say? They have like 1 billion systems using Windows or whatever, and like a couple 100,000 users switched to Linux and dumped Windows. Like that's bad, but that's also like, a tiny portion compared to the total, I guess. That makes sense. Like I'm not trying to be a doomer here, but I'm just trying to also be realistic. Um, but I think the Microsoft executives have definitely been seeing like that what they're doing isn't working, because even their actual core user base are starting to get fed up, and they don't want to push their core user base over to that point of like, tipping over and moving somewhere else. Because I think especially Microsoft is starting to realize with things like SteamOS and everything else too, that they're starting that, Windows and Microsoft were very much like almost a monopoly in the operating system space for such a long time, where there really was no one else to compete with them. That's not really the case anymore. A giant company like Valve stepping into the OS arena and everything, like mainstreaming, starting to mainstream Linux and stuff, like that's serious, to them. That threatens their position. So they kind of are realizing, fuck, right? Because they're seeing that their user base is starting to get pissed. Like even their regular, average, everyday user base. Like find a non-tech savvy person who's not really on the internet or whatever, and they'll probably tell you that like the system on their computer is starting to piss them off too. Like when you get to that point, like yeah, you fucked up. And I think that they're starting to freak out a little bit. So do I think that they can get the people back who already left? I think that the odds of getting most of those people back is pretty low. But do I think that they have a chance of retaining their user base that's mad right now but hasn't left yet? Yes, I think that that's very possible for them. I think that, does that make more sense? Do what I say there, does that make sense? Um, I see you work a lot with AI on your videos. That's cool. I'm doing video games on Unity with vibe coding too. What? What? I see you work with a lot with AI on your videos. That's cool. If I video, are you saying that like I use AI to like I I didn't fully understand that. I don't vibe code. I use AI as an assistant. I'm very vocal about that. I'm very public about that. I think that AI is a good tool. When you use AI like a tool and you're at the helm doing things, but then AI is just an assistant to, help with small things. I think when you use AI in that manner, I think it is genuinely useful. I use AI as a tool. I don't have it, actually make shit for me because I don't trust AI to make shit for me. Winning people that are actually just trying Linux is easy. Yeah. The users that are actually comfortable on Linux, they might never get back. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, I switched to Linux and will never go back to Windows. See, people like you are what I was talking about. Like people who switch to Linux and are saying they're never going to come back, whatever. The odds of Microsoft winning guys like you back, probably pretty low. But appreciate the work you do with Talon, though. My friends have loved using it to fix their computers. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Tell them all I said thanks for me. Tell them all I said thanks for using Talon. I see y'all are a Linux fan. I want, but I have a lot of questions. Exists all the software like Unity, anti-gravity, Visual Code. Are you talking about like the way you write? Kind of hurts my head a little. I see y'all are Linux fans. I want, but I have a lot of questions. Like, does all the software like Unity and anti-gravity, Visual Code? Is that what you were saying? Is like that is one of the big problems with Linux is that a lot of mainstream software like that isn't compatible with Linux. So it makes switching to Linux kind of difficult, especially for a lot of professionals. Really random, what's your favorite genre of music? Probably heavy metal. I also, especially in this last year, I've been getting very into like old Memphis, like 90s Memphis rap. Also, heavy metal, like 90s Memphis rap, hip hop, uh, metalcore, like heavy metal, metalcore, whatever you want to call it. Shit like that. I like a lot of different types of music. There's no single, genre or whatever. I listen to a ton of shit. I have a public playlist. I don't know if you guys knew that. My playlist is public. If you want to go listen to some of the music that I listen to, go to my channel, then click on playlists, and there's one titled The Music of All Time. Got some certified bangers in that playlist. Although the playlist order is completely randomized in no particular order, so I recommend putting it on shuffle. I don't vibe code, I just vibe all Claude codes. It's exaggerated. A month ago, I do it the Unity work. Even this, I'm from Spain. Sorry, English. That's fine, man. Hey, man, no sweat about it. Uh, I'm just, it's honestly just good that you're trying. And honestly, your English isn't terrible for, it not being your primary language. It's not bad, man. Practice makes perfect, but it's good that you're trying, man. It's good that you're practicing your English. Keep it up, man. It's always cool to see. I have a lot of respect for bilingual people. You know, honestly, being bilingual is like insane skill. I tried to learn Spanish. I tried to get into like learning Spanish. Like knowing two languages and being able to like keep up with knowing two languages is fucking difficult, man. Even like fucking trilingual, quadlingual people and shit. Like I don't know how the fuck you do that. Uh, That's an interesting sounding music recommendation. I'll have to check that out. Have I heard of Chevelle? Cool band. At least you're obsessed with the 2000s. I've never heard of Chevelle. I'll have to look into that. Gotta hit the road. Thanks for the stream. Peace. See you, Magnus. Thanks for tuning in, man. Hell yeah, I love to hear it. Not to mention, not to shamelessly plug myself, but I do make rap slash hip hop. Not saying to look it up on stream or anything, but if you want to check it out on your off time, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, that sounds cool, man. Uh, at risk of sounding like a weirdo, sometimes when new faces appear in chat, I will just like click your profile and it gives me the option to click view channel or like go to channel. And I actually did that on you when you first tuned in the stream and you started talking in chat. I do that just sometimes just because I like to like just see, oh, like who's chatting, right? I just like to give that a quick look, and I did actually see that before you mentioned it. Oh, I feel watched now. I'm not like digging into you guys or nothing. I'm not like fucking pulling up your like background checks or whatever. But like sometimes whenever I see an interesting name, I'll just like, click go to channel and just like give it a skim over. Do I have Instagram? Fuck no. Fuck no. No, I'm gonna go my entire life never once having an Instagram. It's one of the most complex languages for the times. We have a lot. It's not just past, present, and future. Yeah, English, from what I've heard, is one of the hardest languages, like, ever. I think it's Mandarin that's the hardest, and then it's like English right after that. I know that Japanese is very hard too. You're a programmer, you know hundreds of languages, you put us in shame. I do not know hundreds of languages, and also I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as a programmer. I'm a guy who programs, but I feel like a programmer is different. Primarily what I am is a systems engineer, I'd say, or a systems architect. I feel like that's what I am, first and foremost, but like programmer is kind of secondary. I do programming, but I don't know if I'd necessarily call myself a programmer. God, my indigestion is kicking my ass. This heartburn means business. I speak 5: Russian, Portuguese, English, Romanian, and a little Spanish. That's fucking crazy, man. That's really cool. I don't know how the hell people like you do it, man. Insta sucks. You're not missing out. I know. I know. I'm well aware. What's the best way to connect with you so we can chat? Public contact wise, either just at me in the community Discord server and we just talk in there, or send me an email. If you want like private communication, where it's like not in a public server like that or whatever, just send an email. Email is a better contact method for me when it comes to communications like that, because with email I can like get to the messages when I can get to them, you know what I mean? Like email allows me to actually like, it's asynchronous communication, so I can actually, someone can send me an inquiry and then whenever I work my way to it, I can address it, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just more efficient for me that way. Creating complex systems is so fun. It really is, man. I enjoy it. It's very fun to just, there's a challenge to it, being able to design systems like that and stuff. That's honestly the most fun part. I love doing it. Just now I'm doing a real pig simulator. A lot of them so fun. That sounds cool, dude. Diseases, times, food, a lot of variables, and equilibrate all on tests. It's what I like more. do perfect system and balance. That sounds very cool, man. Very realistic type of like pig simulator. That sounds pretty interesting. I legit only have Instagram for music stuff. Oh, you mean like posting for your music stuff? Yeah. It's just brain rot and a waste of time, but you know that. Yeah. For my music stuff, at least, it's like it's not worth it. Actually, now that I think about it, I put no effort into promoting my shit at all. I feel like 99.9% of people don't know that I even make music because I just never talk about it. I never mention it publicly, like at all. I just do it. And then like occasionally people who snoop around find it and they're just like, "You do music?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." Maybe I should start actually like promoting that shit. Depends on your starting point. English for me was easy because school plus all of the media on the internet is in English. I'm trying Russian just in case I'm a language prodigy, but I quickly realize I'm really incompetent. Too late to back out though. I don't think it's incompetence. I just think it's, there's definitely skill that goes into like learning multiple languages and stuff that just not everyone has. Like me, for example, there's no way I could learn Russian and fucking multiple languages and all that shit like that. There's no fucking way. That's just not happening with me, man. I didn't know the fuck. What's your artist name? K04X. K04X. It's actually, if you go to my channel on YouTube and you scroll down a little bit, it says my other channels, and there's the Raven channel and then K04X. So if you go there and click on K04X, you'll find my music. I just kind of be doing shit, man. From the field to the code was my real job. Your real job was actually like working with pigs and shit. That's fucking sick, man. Going from like, farm working with animals and shit, on the field, like you say, to actually coding that, like making a realistic pig simulator. That sounds really cool, dude. That's actually really cool, man. Hope your project goes well, dude. I'll be hearing about a realistic pig simulator on Steam one day. Which is harder, English or Java? You know the answer to that. You know the answer to that. Obviously, it's Java. 100% Java. Without a doubt. Best way to learn languages, it's just sub all, watch on YouTube, just sub all. I learn a lot watching American streamers like XQC and Asmongold, and I learn a lot. Yeah, I've actually heard that's a very common way to learn English, is people just, watch like streamers like that. Although I'll tell you right now, watching XQC to learn English, if you know, you know, watching XQC to learn English is a questionable decision. Yeah, whatever, dude. They're talking with the shot right on you, dude. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if subscribing to XQC for learning English is the way to go. But that's cool, man. I'll drop you a sub and support and give it a listen. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thanks. I do appreciate that, my dude. The crisis in immigration, we lose job, but now I do on PC and expose the industry. Oh, well, that's unfortunate, man. I'm happy to hear, though, that you're, working on the computer, actually, like, working on your game and stuff, though. Hope your game's a success, man. Hope your game does well. I hear that there is, when your game does decently on Steam, it can make some good money, so I'm hoping for that, man. I watched XQC and unlearned all of my English. Had to start from zero again. Fucking hell. XQC is a character, man. He is a specimen. I actually used PewDiePie to learn English, which now I know wasn't the best choice since he has a really strong and rare accent. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, now you're gonna be talking like PewDiePie with thick ass accent shit now. That's funny. So fun. I like a lot this stream. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Glad you're having fun, man. I am too. Just chilling. You know, known English my whole life and still can't understand XQC. True, dude. I've heard some clips of him talking, and it is just genuinely impossible to decipher what that man is blabbering on about. I literally cannot understand a word he's saying. While we're on the topic of like non-English users and stuff, did you guys know like I have such a large Turkish viewer base? Like Raven too. Like we have a gigantic Turkish user base. So many the Turks are like everywhere, man. I know so many Turkish people from the Raven community and shit because for some reason there's just like it's Turkish and Brazilian. There's so many Turkish and Brazilian people. It's crazy. I think actually in my statistics it goes United States, then Brazil, then United Kingdom, and like the others. Pretty sure XQC can't understand himself sometimes. True. Interesting. Wouldn't have guessed it. Yeah, man. Turkish. Yeah, the Turks. It's because of censorship. That actually probably is. That is actually probably a pretty good reason for that. But yeah, it's the Turks and it's Brazil. They're everywhere, man. Oh yeah, it reminds me. We were at this. We were at this Mexican restaurant. I went to this Mexican restaurant with my sisters. It was the first time I saw them since I got kicked out. And we were at this Mexican restaurant, and they put the game on, the actual, the soccer game, football. Football. And it was what was the game? It was Mexico v Ecuador, I think. Was it? Yeah, it was Mexico v Ecuador, and it was the World Cup. They put that on, and they actually kept the restaurant open past their typical hours. So like, typically they close at like I think it was like 9 p.m. or something, but they actually kept it open past that time because a bunch of people were there to watch the game, and that whole game, the whole place erupted anytime Mexico scored. People were spilling drinks, like shouting at the top of their lungs, like yeah, like going crazy. It was fucking crazy. It was a wild time, man. Even the fucking workers and shit were just like going ballistic. That was very fun. That whole night. Need a universal XQC translator. Yeah, I have one of those people doing the like sign language shit at the bottom of the screen. The only valid use of a hyperscale data center XQC translator. Oh, that's fucking funny, man. Yesterday Spain won, so y'all going to finals? Hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Rooting for Spain, man. Yeah, we go crazy on football, we as in Latin American. Yeah, man. I'm rooting for y'all. Real football will never beat American football. True. American football is better. Next project, a caption generator for XQC. Oh lord. Such a thing even possible? You know what we need? We need the have any of you guys watched Project Hail Mary? You guys know how like in order to communicate with the alien, he'd have it like make noises and it like correlated to an English word. So like he'd like record the segment and then like type in what it meant. Like we need that like technology but for XQC. Amazing movie, true. Very good movie. I wouldn't say it was like the best movie I've ever seen or whatever. It wasn't like the most amazing movie. I wasn't um it wasn't particularly like the greatest thing I ever saw, but it was definitely a very good movie. It felt a lot like Blade Runner 2047, but maybe it's also because it was Ryan Gosling who was also in Blade Runner 2047, so but like just it kind of gave me those vibes. Banger movie, by the way. Anyone who hasn't watched Blade Runner 2047, go watch it. You will not regret it. I promise you that. Oh yeah, by the way, while we're on the topic of movies, did anyone here ever actually see Red One? Did anyone ever actually watch Red One? It was that Christmas movie. It had Dwayne the Rock Johnson in it. I expected that movie to be garbage. Me and two buddies of mine, the boys, we got together and we went to go watch Red One in theaters because we expected it to be like a horrible movie and we were just gonna have a good time making fun of a really shitty movie. But then it turned out to actually be like a really good movie. Like we didn't think we would like it, but then we actually came out of the theater going like, "Oh shit, that was actually kind of fire." Like that movie actually kind of slapped. I don't know if any of y'all watch Red One. It's out of season now, but very good movie actually. It it leaves me some empty, expecting to see soon another masterpiece like that. True. I love movies like that. They end too soon. That's the same thing with Blade Runner, man. Blade Runner 2047. I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I will. Oh, my internet like fully died there for a second. I'm still here. Welcome back. Yeah, my internet like fully collapsed just now. I think I do need to tune the bit rate to be lower than that for future streams. But anyways, um, but yeah, Blade Runner 2047. I was furious with the ending because of just the way it ends left me so pissed. I wanted more. Yeah, after that movie's just leaves you thinking on life. True. Those are the best kind of movies though. Man, I was asleep halfway of Blade Runner. Fuck's wrong with you, man? No way. Dude, okay, okay. Okay. To your credit, in your defense, Blade Runner is a very slow building movie. Like the start of the movie is very slow. Um, but I very much enjoy those like slow building movies like that. Not everyone does, so maybe it's just kind of not your cup of tea. But at least for me, I fucking love that whole movie. The start of the movie is pretty slow though. I do admit that. Like, yeah, I know not everyone likes those slow building kind of things or whatever, but guys, what if I told you that this whole time I've actually been wrapped in a blanket? What if I told you that this entire time I've been actually wrapped in a blanket, just my lower half of the body, but this whole time I've actually had a blanket here that I've just been wrapped up in, like my little cocoon. Slow movies feel more real. It's the cinema, it's not TikTok fast forward. They sometimes try to put all the dopamine on movie, and that's not good. They use the same strategy as social media. True. Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of modern movies try to be super fast and keep, flashing jingling keys on the screen to keep you entertained, um, keep you with the dopamine hits and shit like that, right? But the movies like Blade Runner are very slow and kind of intentional. They're building to something, and I very much like that because the execution, when it finally gets there, it really pays off, and I think it's just building, and honestly, my most favorite thing with Blade Runner was definitely kind of the atmosphere of the movie, just the vibe of the movie, the the way the way the movie makes you feel, it really puts you into that world where everything is like foggy and like low light and just slow and like kind of dystopian and everything. It just feels like I love the atmosphere of that movie so much. It feels so cool. They did such a good job with that movie. Such a plot twist, I know. The blanket has been here the whole time. That's the super secret. That's the kind of twist Blade Runner would make true. The villain's been in the blanket the whole time. Yeah, that's the big secret. That's the big plot twist of 2026. KO was actually wrapped in a blanket this entire time. I can't remember what video it was, but there was a video I did where I went the entire video recording it with a blanket like half on like that. And I never like mentioned it or showed it in the video. So just let it be known that there is a KO video. I'm not going to say which one, where I am actually wrapped in a blanket, and you will never know which. I don't really follow many interesting YouTubers or streamers, but yours has intrigued me. You're super interesting, and I'll definitely attend the next one. I really appreciate that, man. Thanks. I'm just a dude yapping about shit. Just having a good time at 2:23 a.m. But I'm glad you'll stick around, man. I'm happy to hear that. I don't stream super often. Um, I don't very commonly do streams like this, but maybe I'll start doing them more. I do enjoy doing streams like this. It's just kind of hard to find the time to. Oftentimes I'm very just tired and worn out, and I don't really feel like yapping, but tonight was kind of just an exception. But glad you'll be sticking around, man. I'm happy to hear that. I'm unemployed and proud. Right on. This blanket rabbit hole goes deep. A guy doing an essay on you someday. True. Like KO exposed. I'm gonna have like the black bar where it says like exposed over my eyes. And it's gonna be like a 30-minute long video essay talking about the fact that I wrap myself in a fucking blanket. The downfall of KO. Thoughts on unemployment rates? I think they're very bad right now. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that The unemployment rates are literally worse than the 2008 financial crisis right now, which that sounds about right, but also that's just, yeah, that sucks. Trust me, I've definitely been feeling that. Trying to get a job myself. I mean, I have a job now, but before I did, like trying to find a job is fucking miserable right now. It is fucking terrible. Yeah, I feel very bad for people trying to look for work right now. You'll start cleaning the house, but you'll listen to me on the background, but leave chat. That's fine, man. Yeah, you go clean your house, man. Thanks for keeping me on, though. Been unemployed for 2 years, 486 applications in 90 days. See, yeah, like that really speaks to the state of unemployment right now. It's fucking crazy. You've submitted 486 applications in the last 90 days, unemployed for 2 years, and still don't have a fucking job. Like that's just fucking crazy to me. Like that is actually that is just unfathomable. Either you're just the most unhireable person on the planet, or like how the fuck do we get to this point, right? Like that's fucking crazy. And the craziest part of it, honestly, is that that's a very common experience. That's not even abnormal. That's not even like an unusual thing to say, which is fucking crazy. The fact that submitting that many applications across 90 days still not having a job is not like unusual. That's just unreal. Love y'all. Love you too, man. In a platonic, over the internet way, and not in any other kind of way. But you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you need experience for everything, but no way to get it if everything needs experience. Exactly, dude. It reminds me of that one meme where it was like this guy sitting in an interview with like the interviewer, and he's saying like, okay, you'll need to forget everything you learned in college, and he's like, well, I didn't go to college, and then he goes, well, then you're not qualified for this job. That just perfectly explains the fucking job market. Like 4+ years experience minimum, and it's like an entry level job. And it's like, how the fuck do I get the job then? Like, if every entry level job needs 4 years experience, where do I get the experience? You know, it's fucking crazy, man. AI definitely hasn't helped with the AI job market. It's definitely made things more complex. And I have warehouse experience for 3.5 years and 2 years of customer service. You have a high school degree, you dropped out of college because you were going for computer science than AI. Well, nice, man. Sounds like you have a decent track record, dude. I mean, yeah, it's just, the job market's just tough right now, man. There's always a way, though. Don't get me wrong, there is always a way. Just gotta figure something out, Gotta be creative with it. If the conventional means of getting a job aren't working out for you, where, you're having a tough time landing a job through the typical just blasting out, you know, job applications, if that ain't working for you, then pivot. Start trying something else. Maybe a change of strategy, you know? 23 living with your parents? Sounds like you're in a pretty good state then. Don't get me wrong, like, you have stable living then, and you have caretakers, and you're only 23. 23 living with your parents right now in this economy is not that unheard of. There are many, 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 many 23-year-olds still living with their parents in the economy right now. It's fucking crazy how bad the economy is, dude. And I'm not saying that to say like that's good or that should be like normal. It really shouldn't be, but it is. Just to say that, like that this isn't an issue like, exclusive to you. Like there are many people in your shoes as well right now. So hopefully you can find some comfort in that at least, where it's like, you're not alone in it. But that also does mean that everyone is doing the same thing you're doing with trying to just blast out applications like that. So maybe just try, maybe just pivot, maybe try a different strategy. Like me, for example, my my pathway has been very unconventional. Let me put it that way. So I went to kindergarten. I went to half of first grade. I didn't do any of the rest of elementary school. And then I got thrown back into sixth grade. And then I stayed in school until my 11th year. I stayed in school until junior year. And I only had one year of school left. I'm in high school, I had 1 year of school left. And I dropped out. Well, I guess technically didn't drop out entirely. Basically what I did is I stopped going to school, and instead I'm just going to get my GED. So literally on my last year doing school, so close to the finish line, and I decided not to do my final year of senior year of high school, and instead I'm just going to pursue my GED. And the reason why I decided to do that was because this Raven shit and the way it was going and stuff that I was already doing on the side. And the way I actually landed this job, let me let you guys in on something. So the way I landed this job with Stride, formerly K-12, you want to know how I landed this job that I now have? I landed it through Talon. I'm not even kidding. The way I landed the job I have now is through Talon. Because my boss uses Talon. My boss discovered Talon by himself, learned what Talon was, and actually used Talon and liked it. And then he heard about my situation where I was being kicked out and stuff and all that, and then he offered. So my pathway has been very unconventional. And then the job I had before Stride was I worked with a sponsorship agency, like a YouTube sponsorship agency that that like does sponsorships and stuff for different companies and all that, works with the YouTubers and all that. I worked with them and built like their whole technical side of things, ran their servers and stuff. Guess how I landed that job? I also landed that job through Talon. Literally the same way. The guy was using Talon. He heard about Talon and was using it and reached out to me. And then after some chatting and, getting to know each other and stuff, then one thing led to another, and then I ended up actually working there for a while, doing remote work. And then once that job, I ended up being laid off because they were, I guess, struggling financially and shit. They couldn't keep me. And they were already paying me way below the average, rates and stuff. So, but then, one thing leads to another, and I ended up getting another job through Talent. Anyways, I'm saying that all just to say that my pathway has been very unconventional. And so not everyone's pathway is going to be the same. Is kind of the moral that I'm trying to have you take away from this, Like some people, it's, you go through high school, then you'll go to college, then you'll get a degree, then you'll go through a company and then work your way up the corporate ladder and then end up in a managerial position or something, and then, do your time and then retire or whatever. My pathway has not at all been that. I've went through some bullshit with school, didn't complete my last year of high school, went straight into just working, started my own company, made open source software, landed 2 jobs through it, and I've just been thugging it out since. Like that very different pathway. Hello, brother. How you doing? I'm a big fan. I'm, you can say, a big fan of your work, specifically Talon. I appreciate that, man. Thanks. I use it on every single PC I can get my hands on, or any new installation of Windows 11. Love to hear it, man. Well, thanks for tuning in, man. I'm happy to hear that. Thanks for using Talon, dude. Always happy to hear that. Always very cool to hear. You know, and I think another takeaway you can take from what I was talking about earlier with my pathway and how Talon has played a role in that stuff too is that doing work like that is important. So, like, while I was in high school, while I was, doing that shit, I was also working on Raven. I was also working on Talon. When Talon launched, and for a good chunk of Talon's lifespan, I was in school, going to school every day while working on Talon, right? Like, so I think a big takeaway from that too is, doing stuff like projects like Talon, running, doing open source projects, perhaps if you're, a developer, for example. I don't, you know, I can only speak to my own experiences, right? But doing stuff like Talon, where you're building up work, you're building up a portfolio, you're starting projects, you're doing things, you're trying things, earlier on. That kind of builds up a reputation for you. It builds up a portfolio for you. It builds up a kind of a baseline for you to work on, work off of, because a lot of people are going to be starting at zero, fresh out of high school or fresh out of college. I guess college isn't zero, but you get my point, right? Like, a lot of people going straight out of college are starting at zero. If you at least build up a starting point for yourself, then you're not starting at zero, which puts you kind of at an advantage, which is especially important in the shitty economy and job market like we have today. Maybe we reach 100 Fahrenheit on here in Spain. I'm cooking alive. Yeah, I've been seeing the heat wave that's been passing through and shit. It's brutal, man. It's been getting pretty hot here in Texas. It got on the heat index or whatever, it was like 107 the other day. Fahrenheit. It's been getting pretty fucking hot, man. Europe has no AC. Yeah. True, man. Fucking rough. Because at least we here in, fucking Texas, we have AC. So I feel bad for you guys. Y'all don't have that. I had one small question about Talon, not a very serious question, but can we use O&O Shutup 10 after using Talon to turn off more Windows settings that are still turned on after using Talon? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Talon already disables a bunch of Windows telemetry and bullshit like that, but if you still want like an extra layer of privacy, just, just to be sure, I guess, just for assurance, then running O&O Shutup 10 after using Talon, just to add that little extra layer of like privacy benefit, is worth it, I'd say. If, you're concerned about that, go for it. There shouldn't be any problems. Oh, you from Texas? You neighbor of Asman? Is Asman Gold in Texas? Wait, is Asman Gold in Texas? I didn't know that. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm in Texas, man. I had no clue Asmongold was in Texas. I mean, I don't watch Asmongold, nor do I really. Austin, no. Are you asking if I'm in Austin, Texas, or are you asking if, or are you saying that Asmongold is in Austin, Texas? I know where Austin, Texas is. He's in Austin, Texas, you think? That's crazy, man. I know that Jay Schlatt is in Texas now, too. He moved to Texas. Asman is from Austin, yeah. Yeah. I had no idea, man. And you have my debt, brother. I mean, I am no use to anyone, but still, you have my wholehearted thanks for creating such great debloating tool. Just a few clicks, my PC has been working great after. Well, I'm really happy to hear that, man. And also, you don't owe me nothing, man. If you really want to pay me back for using Talon, just spread the word. Spread the word about Talon, you know, just recommend it to people who may want to use it. That's how, if you want to pay me back for using Talon, that's how you can do it. But you don't even have to do that. You don't owe me shit, man. I put Talon out there because I want to. It's free. And also that part about I'm no use to anyone. Lie alert. Can we get a lie alert? Someone here just lied. Professional liar. I can tell you right now that's definitely not true. Out of all the debloaters that you can that you have seen, is the most debloat you can get out of a Windows system? Is it maxed out debloated? What? That question didn't make total sense to me. Can you elaborate? Can you try to rephrase a little? Maybe clarify. Are you asking me like which debloater I think is like the most like aggressive debloater, I guess? I recommend it to every single friend of mine, dude. Everyone who I know has a PC, that's the first thing I say is use Talon, debloat your Windows first thing. That's very cool, man. Well, any of your friends who do use Talon, make sure to tell them that I said thanks. I do appreciate it, man, seriously. Glad you're enjoying it. It's always cool whenever you make something like software like Talon or whatever, and you get to hear about people like actually getting some good use out of it, you know? I mean, is Talon the most debloat you can get out of all? Is what I mean. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. A big selling point with Talon specifically is that it's decently conservative. Talon gets rid of all the junk out of your system, but it intentionally keeps like the actually useful stuff, and it intentionally keeps certain things, right, that people, you know, day to day use that actually find useful, right? That's one of the big points of Talon, is that it's supposed to be the most like pain-free debloater. So if you're looking for like maximum debloat, like remove everything kind of thing, then Talon is absolutely not your pick. But if you are looking for a debloater that will clear out the like egregious shit, the like really annoying dumb crap, and like actually speed up your system, but not at the cost of like usability and stuff, where like you still have the actually useful stuff, then that's what Talon is for. If it was possible for me to if it was possible to me without being gay, I might I might kiss you, brother, no homo. Well, I do appreciate the gesture, man. Just watching the kilobits per second have a total stroke right now. Yeah, I noted for future streams that I should drop the kilobits per second down. I think it's a little too much for you for my little network card. I am feeling it, chat. Holy shit. 2 hours and 35 minutes. Can you guys, for those of you who have been in this chat like the whole time, can you guys believe it's been 2 hours and 35 minutes? Holy shit. I'd kiss you on the cheek. Not necessary. Not necessary. Just a thank you suffices, please. It's always cool though, seeing the members of the community and stuff that are like the non-native English speakers. I think that's always cool. There's just something about like the fact that my software, like software that I made, is like reaching people like all the way like across the fucking globe. Like that's always just like a really cool thought. That's always really neat to hear about. Like I've received messages or like emails or whatever from people literally from like Pakistan or whatever. Or I remember receiving an email from a guy from what's it called? South Korea. Like that's always fucking cool to hear that shit. It's like god damn, that dude's like on the whole other side of the planet. Internet's a wild fucking place, man. While you guys are here, actually, I have an interesting question. Is there anything you guys think Talon could use? Like any additions to Talon that would be like beneficial? Because I talked about this a bit earlier on stream, but I genuinely can't think of what more to add. Which I guess is kind of a good thing. But Talon has reached a point where I legitimately can't think of what else to do. What else to like, any new features to add to it. I like legitimately can't really think of anything. That's what I wanted to talk about directly, but we can't hear. I mean, yeah, if you want to collaborate with Talon, I think honestly leaving those kinds of conversations more public facing is better. Um, as far as actually like collaborating with Talon, that's best to do on like, off stream in the Discord channels and stuff. But if you want to like just bring up some ideas, some concepts you've had, and we can chat about them a bit here, that's we can do that. I'm just curious if you guys have any like ideas that I can munch on, that I can let cook in my little noodle here. See if there's any feedback I can receive that'll help me come up with any new additions I can add. But if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. And then for like actually collaborating on them and stuff, though, that's better to do off stream because that's just, no need for really features. For example, like games, the more features they add, the less fun the games become. Fortnite is a great example. Yeah, honestly, I feel like Talon's at a point where just like doing nothing is the best move. Like I really feel like Talon's at a stage in its lifespan where just maintaining it, like just maintenance. But otherwise, like adding new features or whatever is kind of just like unnecessary. Because genuinely, I have no clue what else I would add at this point. Any of you non-native English speakers using Talon recently, have you guys gotten any use out of the multi-language support? Has that been helpful to any of you guys here? Wanted to make sure that, Talon is accessible to as many people as possible, Focused on less tech-savvy users initially, then we moved to trying to make Talon more better for more tech-savvy users as well, and then we focused on making it more accessible just globally. If you don't mind me asking, my brother, how much did it take you to make Talon from scratch? By the way, I'm a huge Talon fan from India. Well, that's very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that. Man, fucking India, man. That there's also okay. The community's nuts, dude. Because you know the amount of fucking people from India too that like are involved in the community too. It's crazy, dude. Like, it's actually crazy. That's cool, man. Man, genuinely, I love India, man. Such a cool fucking place. I want to go to India someday. Beautiful fucking looking place. But to answer your question though, it took the very first Talon video, like where I showed off like the early demo or whatever, took maybe that demo took like, like that early demo version of Talon took maybe like a week or two. But then the actual like initial public release of Talon took maybe, I want to say 2 months about. And then Talon officially released on November 11th of 2025. So from November 11th, 2025 until now, that's how old Talon is. That's how long it's been in development. I guess you can do the math on that. I'm too lazy to do it myself. But it's really cool hearing that you're from India, man. India is such a cool country, dude. Oh, boys, I am feeling it. God damn. Holy shit. Thinking I might have to clock out in a minute, dude. It's just so cool knowing that Talon is gonna be 1 year old in a few months. Yeah, that's very cool, dude. I'm excited for that. We actually, would you guys like to be let in on something? You guys want to know something? I'm gonna let you guys in on a little something that I'm not really supposed to talk about yet, but I'll go ahead and let you guys in on it because I'm in a silly, goofy mood. We're actually planning something pretty cool for Talon's anniversary. Or we actually have something in the works right now. There's gonna be something pretty cool for Talon's anniversary. Cheers, chat. Time to code. See you, man. Good luck with your game, dude. I'm looking forward to hearing about that on Steam, dude. It's very cool. I really want to know now. Ooh, how do I give hints without revealing too much? It's gonna be a limited edition. It's gonna be something that's limited edition. It's gonna be like a collector's type thing. And it's gonna be for the anniversary of Talon. There'll be a little special something we're gonna do for Talon's anniversary, and it'll be like a collector's thing. I don't want to spoil it, but I think it'll be pretty cool when it comes out. One question, is it going to be paid? Unfortunately, yes, it will be paid. Um, but it will be like a collector's thing. It'll be a limited time like collector's thing. It will be paid, but um, there'll be a limited supply of it. Honestly, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I really don't want to say too much though. It'll ruin the fun, but hope that I can get my hands on it. Well, man, we'll see in November, man. I'm pretty fucking excited for it actually. I've talked to only a couple of people about it. Only a few people know. Can you elaborate though? Limited what? I cannot elaborate. Not yet. It would ruin the surprise. What I can say is that there will be something that'll be limited edition, and it'll be like a collector's thing for the to celebrate the anniversary. That's all. That's all I can say. So fun talking about my favorite deep loading tool as well as playing GTA 5 on the other side. Nice, man. Hell yeah, brother. It's one hell of a night right there. I wish I could give more hints, man, but I'm not. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I gotta keep my lips sealed, otherwise it ruins the fun. It's an idea I've had for a couple months now, though, and we're starting to reach out to some people and plan it a bit. We're starting to get things situated, starting to put things together for it. It's a couple months out in November, but you heard it here. You heard it here, folks. A plushie. Oh my god, could you imagine a Talon plushie? What the fuck would that even look like? It'd be so fucking funny if it was a Talon plushie. That would be hilarious. For all Talon users, it's something like for our PCs like malware. That'd be so funny. Imagine if the anniversary celebration of Talon is just that it's malware. We just put like a fucking virus on it. That'd be so fucking funny. Building up Talon for an entire year just to fucking like do like some stupid like put a fucking crypto miner in it. Like, a plushie would be so fucking funny. It's not a plushie. I hate to break the news to you guys, but it's not a plushie. But that is a pretty funny idea. Imagine it's just like a screenshot of Talon, the software, but like a plushie. That would be really funny. I mean, it's in afternoon in India at this time. It's 1:28 p.m. afternoon time in India. That's crazy, man. It's fucking 3 a.m. right now for me. A humanoid plushie with a black t-shirt that says Deep-Loading Engineer or something like that. Imagine that. That'd be pretty funny. You already spoiled it. It's not a plushie. Yeah. I'll give you that. It's not a plushie, but I won't say what it is, though. I'm not elaborating further than that. If you ask me, is it blank or, is it not blank or whatever, from this point forward, I'm not answering. I refuse to answer anymore. Gotta keep the secret. But you guys heard it here first. You guys are the first to hear about this publicly. You guys are the first to know about it. That something's coming. Make it to be like a Rickrolled video. W limited edition anniversary. That'd be so funny. If I make a plushie using Talon's name, am I gonna get sued for it? Don't do that. Don't 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 do that. Selling like merchandise, third party unauthorized merchandise or products or whatever using the Raven or Talon name or whatever. Yeah, don't do that, please. Talon waifu. Holy shit. Oh, that's a banger idea. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Imagine if we introduced like a imagine if we introduced like the Talon VTuber, like a Talon e-girl, an actual Talon waifu that like in the software like she's there and she's like helping you like debloat your system, like pointing to the stuff what you need to do or whatever. That would be so fucking funny. We hire like a VTuber to do like live streams of like the Talon waifu. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. That'd be so fucking funny. Yeah, there needs to be the Talon waifu for the anniversary would slap. That would go crazy. I really like that idea. God damn, it's been almost 3 hours of streaming. Holy shit. God damn. Boys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm thinking I might call it here. I'm thinking I might call it here, boys. I got that meeting tomorrow for work, so I'd probably stay up longer if I didn't, but I think I gotta wrap it up. Dude, sleep. Yeah, instead of sleeping the night before my meeting, I just have to like I just stayed up instead until 3 a.m. streaming. Love the stream. Thank you, man. I'll have to try to I'll try to do more streams like this. I'll try to do streams more often. It's just hard time, finding the time for it, having the energy for it, whatever, but I'll try to start doing this some more. Night, brother. Had a blast talking with you. Take your well-deserved rest. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, this was fun. This was fun. Thank you all for tuning in, guys. Whatever part of the world y'all are from, man. Y'all take care.